Duval, what's going on? It's your boy Ruben. You know what it is, new week, new video, and what a week it is to go ahead and drop this video. Big bomb dropped yesterday, Stephon Diggs to the Jags. And full disclosure, I did a video yesterday. I just didn't drop it. And the reason I didn't drop it yesterday is because I had time to think about it. I had time to reflect on it. And there were things that I didn't cover that I rather would have covered. And overall, I just felt the energy of the video wasn't the energy I wanted to convey. I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little lethargic thinking about having to face the Texans with Stephon Diggs and all their additions, right? But those who know me also know I wasn't worried about the Texans before the trade, right? So all this did for me was it did raise an eyebrow. This is one where it's like, I can't ignore that. But going into that trade, I wasn't afraid of the Texans. And the reason I wasn't afraid of the Texans is because, number one, I fully expected CJ Stroud to have kind of a sophomore slump, right? And then on top of that, they're a very young team. I just felt like they're behind the Jaguars in the process of gelling as a team and becoming a team and growing, right? In terms of a rebuild, they're behind the Jaguars. Now, some of y'all might not see it that way because Jaguars, and I'm going to tell you a lot of it had to do with injuries, but the Jaguars dropped the last 5 or 6 games, and people will have you think that we weren't competing for the division, not leading the division, like we weren't 8-3 before we dropped those, 5 of the last 6. Especially when Trevor got hurt, Kirk got hurt, and people act like they forgot that we beat the Texans last time that we played them. On top of that, now the first game that we played the Texans won. But if you watch the game, like it was a comedy of errors. We let a fullback run a kickoff return all the way back to the house. Just some schematic errors happened. It was one of those games. I think we even missed field goals. Like it was just one of those games where nothing was going right. Right? It wasn't. Oh, the Texans had this talent gap against us. And ironically, if we win that game, we're in the playoffs. So the Texans made the playoffs. I had respect for them. I feel like I'm the only one that's viewing them properly. I had respect for them from the prospect of they're ahead of schedule, right? But we are ahead of them in terms of development in my mind. That team's still very green. Now, Danielle Hunter, big time pass rusher, right? Stephon Diggs, top 10 wide receiver. That's nothing to sneeze at. But potential does a weird thing to people, right? And I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth and act like it's something to ignore. But people act like CJ Stroud was a top 3 quarterback. Like people act like that's already a thing, and it hasn't. He still has to earn that title. He had one of the best quarterback, if not the best. I'd have to look at the statistics again, but I remember somebody was making a case at one point that he's having the best rookie season for a quarterback, and people translate that and multiply it into something that it isn't. He wasn't Pat Mahomes. He wasn't Josh Allen. He wasn't Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Like, he looks like he's going to be a very good quarterback, but I also saw flaws in his game. There were plenty of games. There were games that I believe he even had that he didn't even hit 60% completion percentage, right? And so, yes, they got better, but I fully expected a sophomore slump from him because while it was very good, there were holes in it, like I just stated, and now there's tape on him, right? Now, they're doing what a team should do, okay? And that's, I got a rookie quarterback. He looks like a boss, and I'm going to just tool up around him, and kudos to that. That GM's doing a hell of a job. But that team still has to come together. And they've drafted well. It's actually annoying how well things are going for the Texans roster construction wise, right? So CJ Stroud falls in their lap. They trade back up for Will Anderson. They traded for Laramie Tunsil a while ago. They ended up drafting Derek Stingley. Deshaun wanted out. They flipped him for picks, and those picks became players. And it's a little annoying how well it's gone, and it goes to show you what a good quarterback will do for you. And I say that as a Jag fan because we were first overall. We got Trevor Lawrence. A lot of people were higher on Trevor Lawrence than I was, but as of right now, people are literally picking CJ Stroud over Trevor Lawrence. I'm not sure I'm in that camp yet. The next year, we ended up with Trayvon Walker, and I can't say that we got the best pass rusher in that draft as of right now. Now, he did have 10.5 sacks. Great. But he was a project. Like, Laramie Tunsil was one of the best left tackles in the league, right? Derek Stingley was a consensus top corner before Sauce took that from him. Just some of the players that kind of just fell in their lap. Like, there's seasons where the Jags have been in the top 10 and we end up with like Dante Fowler, Blaine Gabbert. Like, I've seen us miss so many times in the top 10 picks or whatever that it's just annoying to see how well it's gone for them. But I digress. And I say all this to say, when I was talking to somebody and he was asking, how do you think you're going to compete in the division, or how are you not afraid of the Texans? And how I respond to that is, yes, they have a good team, but the Jaguars have a good team too. And here's what I mean. The Texans went and got they got sexy names. Danielle Hunter. Well, Josh Allen was better than Danielle Hunter last year. They got Will Anderson. I could make an argument that Trayvon Walker is just as talented or better. And he's going into year 3. Will Anderson's going into year 2. So he's ahead of him in that development, right? Safeties. I think Cisco's better than both their safeties. Tyson Campbell, at the very least, I personally think Tyson Campbell's been better than Derek Stingley. At the very least, they're equal. And again, he's going into year 4. I have a top 5 middle linebacker in Foye Oluokun, right? And then I got Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma going into year 3, year 4. Now, and then we added Eric Armstead. So we don't have like the sexy names. We didn't, trade for everybody X, Y, and Z. We got a team full of guys. Travis Etienne. I can make an argument that he's better than Joe Mixon. Right? Laramie Tunsil's better than any tackle we have, but I can make the argument that our O-line overall is better than Houston. Now, I think it's a push between Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud. They got us in the wide receiving room. Like, the wide receivers, I can't front. But it's not like we have a bad wide receiving room. And give me Evan Ingram over Dalton Schultz. Right? So I say all that, right? So when you look at the matchups, right, we don't have some of the sexy additions. But we got a lot of guys going into big-time years and are in a real critical point in their development, going into year 3, year 4. I expect big things, right? I'm not saying they all have to hit, but who's to say Tyson doesn't become a Pro Bowl corner? Cisco doesn't become a Pro Bowl safety? Like, again, I talked about potential, right? I think we have more potential than the Texans do right now. And it's, you could say maybe in the long run the Texans catch us, and we'll see if they do, and we'll see if they overtake us. But right now, when you're looking at potential for potential, I don't see why everybody's giving the Texans the division. We got the same amount of potential, if not more, on the roster already. It's just that for some reason we're the Jaguars, nobody likes to look into the stats. Foye Oluokun led the league in tackles Not once, but twice. And I believe was top 5 last year. Josh Allen, top 3 in sacks. What are we talking about? Like, and he combined for 27.5 with Trayvon Walker. So they're not sexy names. People don't know them because it's Duval down here. And that's cool. I'd rather be the hunter at this point. Texans, I hope they're ready to strap up. We're going to see them on the field in between the white lines. And we'll see who gets it done. I'm hyped for the season. I can't wait to see what we do in the draft and what the new defensive scheme is going to look like. One thing can mess this up, in my opinion, and that's Trent Baalke. We got to get Josh Allen done. Got to get it done. And we got to leave this draft with some key positions. We still have a need at the other corner spot. I'd like to see some more lineman depth. And, on each side. I'd like to see some more depth on, the interior lines, if not a tackle on the offensive line. And a lot of receivers. Like I said, I like our receiving core, and I'm pretty sure they're going to add to it. So that's all I got for now. Strap up, Houston. I'm not backing down. We ain't backing down. And as fans, y'all got to calm down. Where's the pride? How do y'all not see this? All right. All of our issues, in my opinion, it's not a talent issue. It's been some scheme stuff. And I think bringing in Nielsen to fix the defense is going to, provide huge dividends, pay off a lot. So again, that's all I got. Let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe, share, and come on, Duval, put them up. Let's go.